Good morning, everyone. It is 11:30. Still waiting for a few committee members to join us, but I'll go ahead and get started with the preamble so that we can get moving once looks like we have all our committee members here. So this is the April 16th, 2026 meeting of the Historic Ohio City Design Review Advisory Committee to go through the virtual meeting regulations and procedures. Actions during the meeting will be taken by roll call vote. Recusal due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the start of any presentation. The recused committee member will then leave the meeting for the duration of the case discussion. The chair will call the meeting to order and ask for a roll call of the committee. The administrator will introduce the first project. The meeting will then be turned over to the applicant to proceed through the presentation. Each presentation should be completed prior to questions and comments from the committee. Once the presentation is concluded, the administrator will provide background information and read any received public comments. The committee will then begin deliberations and project review. Please use the raised hand feature if you'd like to speak. After deliberations and review concludes, the committee will render its recommendation and or motion. The applicant may leave the meeting after their project review is complete. All projects will follow the same format until all projects are heard by the committee. Once all projects are heard, the chair will call for any committee/administrative reports, and after all reports have been heard, the chair will adjourn the meeting. Regarding community comments, any and all community members may provide the written comments, thoughts, or questions regarding projects presented to the committee. Community members may also telephone their comments or questions to the committee administrator. All comments, thoughts, or questions must be submitted to the committee administrator no later than 48 hours prior to the start of the meeting. Public comment received after the deadline will not be heard by the committee. Public comment will be collected by Landmark staff and sent to the committee members for review prior to the scheduled meeting. And then Landmark staff will summarize the received comments during the meeting. The applicant on the project is under no obligation to answer any community questions. Community members are invited to attend the Design Review Advisory Committee meetings, but there will be no open public comment period. Regarding design review guidelines, all projects are being reviewed using the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation and are being considered for the issuance of a certificate of appropriateness. All projects are considered on a case-by-case basis. Presentations were received and distributed to committee members for review prior to the scheduled meeting. Changes to the presentation after confirmation of receipt by Landmark staff are not shown here today. The Historic Ohio City Design Review Advisory Committee makes recommendations to the Cleveland Landmarks Commission. These recommendations are not final actions. Depending on the scope of the project, submissions may be approved administratively or will need to be reviewed by the full Cleveland Landmarks Commission. If that's the case, projects will be scheduled at the next available commission meeting after an action is taken. As always, we have the Secretary of the Interior standards here and available to call back up if anyone has any questions about their applicability. But it appears we may have quorum now. Let's see if we have looks like our chair is here. We'll just, Madam Chair, when you're ready, you call the meeting to order. I'm happy to do roll.
Yes, sounds good. Calling today, April 16th, Historic Ohio Design, Ohio City Design Review Advisory Committee meeting to order. Dan, please call the roll.
That's the one. Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Ms. Flaherty?
Here.
Mr. Frondorf? Ms. Lamb?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Ms. Myers?
Here.
Mr. Persons? And Ms. Marinucci?
Here.
Madam Chair, we do have quorum and we do have a couple of projects for review today. First up being case HOC 26-04 at 5003 Franklin Boulevard. You guys saw this schematically on March 5th, 2026, new construction. We have Chris Salerno and some other folks from his team here. So if you guys want to walk through your presentation, just let me know when you want me to advance through the slides, and apologize in advance if there's any delay or lag.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. This is Brent Cornell with Closure Create. I recognize some of your faces. We've been here a handful of times now. We also went and met with the Landmarks Commission, and we got some really good feedback from them. So you guys are probably semi-familiar with this plan set already in presentation, but we've definitely refined it based off both parties and committees' comments and overall influence. So Here you have the site map, just a general idea and location of the actual development of the project. Please proceed to the next slide. Once again, this is some nearby structures as a frame of reference in the overall style that we're trying to contribute to the new site. Next slide, please. So recently we received, we finally got in contact with the zoning department and received some feedback from them regarding these 10 options in the top left. Those are variances, which we've accommodated and shifted things around on the site to accommodate and no longer breach those specific zoning issues. So I think we reduced it from down to 10 to 4. And so we will have to apply for some variances, but we still have proceeded with the zoning department. I know that's a common question from you guys, but we do have that ball moving now since we're really dialing in this design. One major one for you guys, sorry, I can't really see the screen, but the line of sight and the rear garage. I know that was a concern for you guys originally, but based off the renders I'll show later, it's very, yes, exactly, thank you. It's very difficult to see. I mean, you'd have to see it at just the right angle. I know in this community, you guys don't want a snout house, and I really think we're the furthest thing from it. And I know we don't really comply with, I believe that's 71-foot setback, but we're pretty close, as well as the actual setback from the side of the house to screen the garage. We're also close to that, but we will apply for a variance for that as well. It's just too tight to shift the garage back any further against the other property line with without opening other potential code violations. So this is the zoning plan. This is new to your guys' knowledge, but I just tried to clean it up, make it way more clear on what the approach is with the zoning department. Can you go to the next slide, please? Landscape plan. I know Urban Forestry has a final review. They need some additional information. So you can kind of see here, calling out mulch beds, some additional planting details, as well as the light fixture placement. You'll see it in the elevation views, but I think just as a better frame of reference for the exterior sconces being placed. You can kind of see it good here on this plan. So yeah, just some further planting and landscaping details, as well as trying to keep that stamped concrete look for the pedestrians. Now, it is still part of the drive because we have to meet a minimum width of 10 feet, given that there's 2 structures in the back and we had to jump from 8 to 10 foot. But we're still trying to, one, signify a spatial walk space, but also still meeting the minimum zoning requirement of that 10-foot drive or entryway to the back. So next slide, please. Here's some further images from the actual manufacturer's website of those colors. I know the renderings can do or be partial to the actual or impartial to the overall aesthetic. So this is actually a more clear color palette of what we're going for, as well as the light sconce that we plan on placing on the actual structures. Next slide, please. So this one's familiar to you guys. That exterior finish schedule essentially aligns with those previous images. You can see that it's very similar to the original designs, having the actual, sorry, I'm having trouble actually seeing the entire screen, but I'll just try to go off memory. So we got the beige around the sides and the fronts of the main structure, as well as that sage shaker on the actual gable faces. One comment that you guys might agree with is, one, the windows. I know that was always a comment for specifically the second floor for that pediment face above the front door, as well as the gable face. We figured adding those 2 small picture windows really ties the space in together, especially after reviewing other nearby structures. The other main one is, if you can recall, is the actual gable face of the house now faces the road, so not the slope face. Once again, a characteristic that is more similar to the neighboring structures. Besides that, the front house is still very similar. I mean, it's come a long way from the original presentation. If you can recall those design elements, that's like raising it off the ground, adding a lot more details to the front porch, as well as the windows themselves having a more scalable approach with the first and second floor. Yeah, second slide, please, or next slide, please. Elevation views of the rear structure. This is no longer going to be considered a townhome. This is a duplex for zoning reasons. We're actually not splitting this rear parcel, so I'll further convey this as a duplex. But also from your guys' comments and Landmarks Commission's comments, we got rid of the horizontal banding on the face and presented that vertical look of siding all the way up, and went for a more modern approach. Got rid of the corbels, kept the simplified shed roof, and overall a much more simpler design, being that it is in the background and not the main focus of this development. So that is the elevations of the townhouse in the rear. Next slide, please. This is from the side views. So top elevation is if you were coming in from the entryway, looking at both structures, and then the other side is from the rear side lot, looking at both structures. But mostly same information, just seeing them presented together. Next slide, please. Floor plans, not as pertinent to this. Next slide, please. And again. Next slide, please. Okay, so here, I knew that you guys would appreciate a better perspective view of the actual structure. So you can see on the top three, we're actually presenting the structure in a perspective view from the road and the walkways nearby, and then overall front. Just giving it a more suggestive scale and depth. So you can see the townhouse structure in the back. From this perspective, it's obviously, in my opinion, more drowned out than what's presented on the elevation views, as well as across the street. It's very much so concealed by that tree and the adjoining property, the small yellow house, as well as the adjacent larger 2-floor structure that's, I guess, a commercial building, and also that tree. So I feel like the back is very much so, kept in the background and is not by any means the focal point of this development. And then also as a frame of reference, I added additional, just while we're on this sheet, so it's easier to reference, is neighboring structures. The first two, the blue and 1805 West 5th. The first one, those are obviously, or you can tell that they've been updated. The one on the left looked like it was based off street views, updated in 2019. And then as well as the second one, 1805 West 50th Street. That one appears to have been new construction around 2018. So I feel like we're following very similar characteristics to that, just some different coloring and overall aesthetics. And then just to make sure we hold down the historical design of the neighborhood, we have the other unit, the third and last one that we're trying to reference, or just as a concept of a house that is original to the neighborhood. So yeah, these are, I feel like, for you guys, more critical perspective views that you guys can use in your decision today. I believe that's the last slide. You can try hitting next. All right, if that's it.
All we have.
All right, awesome. Thank you, committee members, for hearing us on this presentation.
Thanks so much. Does anyone want to start? If anyone does have any feedback.
No, I just I appreciate the attention to our comments and the additional views. I think it definitely helps add context to what the finished product would actually look like on this block.
Yeah, I agree. And it sounds like you guys did get a lot of good feedback that you needed to have from zoning and from, I think you guys went to Landmarks. So I feel like you know, I think pretty much every comment has been addressed sufficiently. And I don't think I have any further comment. Anyone else? And if not, does anyone want to make a motion since I cannot?
Yeah, I'm happy to make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second that.
All right. Seeing no other hands, hearing no other comments, Ms. Flaherty? I'm sorry, Ms. Anderson. Sorry. Was that a yes, Whitney? Sorry.
Yes, sorry, it's noisy in the background. Yes.
Yeah, they're doing masonry work right outside my window, so it's just lovely here, all the grinding. Ms. Flaherty?
Yes.
Ms. Land?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Myers?
Yes.
And Ms. Marinucci? Madam Chair, the motion passes unanimously.
Great.
All right, congratulations, guys. Yeah, we will be in touch with next steps, but I believe we have to pencil in for landmarks next week. So yeah, we'll get in touch to confirm all that and go from there. But thank you.
Thank you,
Great.
guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, and next up we have case HOC 26-11 at 1786 Randall Road. Looks like we have Paul Began and Susan Broadwater from Began Design. The homeowner here as well, but in any case, this is for window and siding replacement, so I will hand it over to you. We have kind of two presentations. There's one short one and then an addendum with a lot more information that I can go through as well. So yeah, so I don't know. One has bigger pictures, so we'll just use them both. Just let me know when you want me to switch through slides.
Sure, no problem. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. Paul Began from Began Architectural Design. We do have Susan Broadwater here from my office and the owner, Mr. Crum, as well too. Mr. Crum is the new owner of this house on Randall Road. And we're here before you to talk about exterior siding and windows for this house. We can go on to the next one. Just for the committee, you can see what is going on here. Here's the original house. There is an addition. We can't really see from these photos that was put on sometime in the 80s on the side towards the back of the lot. Some work has started on the project, kind of prior to understanding the rules and regulations of the district, but that's what we're here to hopefully work through and rectify. We can go on to the next one, Dan. So what we are planning to do for this project is the sides and rear of the structure we will use the vinyl siding on, as well as the vinyl replacement windows. On the front elevations, we're going to use an LP smart siding and use an FRP or PVC type trim to replicate the trim around the windows that was there. Because of that front portion of the house is kind of so prominent, we're going to wrap that around on this side, the left side of it, back to where the front door is, and include that front door in that siding replacement as well too, for that. And then ideally, the owner would like to use the vinyl windows in those windows as well too. But looking forward to some comments from the committee on that. And I think that's it for us, Dan.
All right, thank you. And then as I mentioned, we do have, I guess there's additional product details which were emailed, included in the Dropbox. So I don't know if everyone had a chance to look at them, but I think everyone's probably familiar with vinyl siding and the fiber cement siding that's being referenced. So yeah, if there's any questions about any of the products, we can dig into these. Otherwise, probably just go back to the elevations and let you guys discuss from there.
I do have a product just because I know we have seen LP Smart Siding presented to us before, but I don't recall what the general consensus was on it. If you can provide some context for that. You're muted.
Yep, thanks. Yeah, it has been used on a few other projects. You know, I think with some success. I'm trying to think of any in particulars. I believe it comes in, you know, a smooth or a grained cedar texture. So, you know, I think we typically prefer the brushed smooth. But, you know, from our experience, I think we sort of treat it as we would hardy siding. Like it's a, you know, it's a composite material. It installs plank by plank as opposed to hanging it in sheets, kind of like the vinyl siding. So it seems, I mean, you know, it's, I don't know that we've had a project that's 20 years old to see how it stands up, but I think, you know, it's been used with success, at least in the short term. So, you know, staff is supportive of it.
Understood. Thank you. Paul or your client, can you guys give context as to what the impetus for re-siding the house? I mean, I know that there was some significant work done in that front corner. I think there was even some major, looked like some major sanitation or plumbing line work done, I'm assuming by the previous owner, but if you could give kind of context on the condition of the siding and why, you know, why you guys want to cover it, that would be helpful.
Well, it's I'll let Mr. Crum answer as well too. It's really a building maintenance issue. Why the move forward with doing vinyl siding on the house. It did have the original wood siding on it, right? As everybody is aware, the cost. You know, he just purchased the house. The cost to, you know, take care of even just repairing and cleaning it up and painting it is more expensive than siding it.
And just to chime in, you mentioned, Madam Chair, that the work on the front corner, I believe a car crashed into it. So I don't think there's a photo in this presentation, but I think we were shown one at a staff meeting we had with the owner and their design team. They kind of showed that corner needed significant rebuilding. There was pretty significant damage there, so that vinyl is currently covering that up.
Okay, thanks. I'm sorry to hear that. I did not know that's how that was caused, but that sucks. Okay. I think, well, I it's not that I don't know. I'm struggling because I don't oppose the materials. I think in the application and where you want to draw the line between the LP siding and the vinyl, I think I'm good with that. I just am remiss to, yes, maintaining old siding is a task, and but it's a task that comes with buying a house in this district. And I'm, aside from the obvious damaged portion, is the quality of, you know, covering it up typically in my mind should have a really good reason rather than just restoring what's there. It's always, I would think, our first preference. if it's salvageable, and I can't fully tell if it's salvageable or not, but that's my kind of thoughts on it, or developing thoughts, I should say. And I'm interested in my colleagues' opinions or your guys' thoughts on that, if you can provide more information.
I have two questions. The first, will this be the homeowner's primary residence?
Yes, he is living there right now.
Okay. That seems like a short-term situation then? Is that what I'm understanding from that comment?
No, right, there's renovations going on. I mean, there's other things that need to happen inside as well too. And Riley, you tell me if I'm wrong, or you're planning to stay here.
Hi, yes, this is Riley. I'm the homeowner. I am planning on staying here. Not for like, I don't know, 5-10 years, but maybe the next 2 to 3 years, move in with my girlfriend and rent out part of it to help pay for some of the costs so that it's not so expensive to live, as everyone here knows how expensive it is to live in today's society with all the costs of everything.
Yes, you chose maybe the most expensive neighborhood in Cleveland. Can you also clarify where the vinyl begins? Is the full side going to be the same material as the front of the home, or does it transition somewhere on the side?
No, it transitions at the corner there, Wendy. So we have the front gable elevation wrapped around the left side up to the front door. So it stops on the outside corner. So if you could look at the drawing there that Dan just had up, right, a little bit darker valuation in the color of the line weight, so you can kind of see. So on that side elevation, yes, the double gables there would be the vinyl.
My preference, I think the majority of this side is visible, so my preference would be for the same material to be used throughout the entire side. And then it's pretty standard for this committee to not approve vinyl windows, especially the white that you have here. So I'm going to be consistent in that decision as well.
And clarifying question for you, right? Where vinyl windows might be appropriate on this house versus what your recommendation would be as far as not vinyl windows.
I think the back of the home is pretty concealed, and the side where the brick building is at the northern elevation. Am I getting my directions correct? I think that side is fairly hidden as well, so I would be okay with that. But I think the southern elevation is pretty visible, and so I would like to treat that similarly as we would the front of the home.
All right, Dan, can we go to the elevation so I could ask one more clarifying question? Right, so there is an addition. You could see on that front elevation, that top left drawing there, that was put on sometime in the 80s right there. Would that elevation also be in your comments, or would that be something because it's obviously not original or historic to it, that siding and that window could be vinyl?
Well, even new construction homes, we require higher quality materials if it's visible. I think what I'm struggling with some of these images is to really see the visibility. There's so many pedestrians that walk by this home, and that's how it was initially reported. So if there is something that stands out as being different, then it will be noticed. It's a small portion. My preference would be not to break up that side and to use the same materials. I can't imagine that the cost would be that significant because of the scale of that addition being so much smaller than the home, but that would be my preference, and obviously it's up to the entirety of the committee.
Great, thank you.
Question for related question, Paul, or follow up to that. That little addition in the drawings, it's labeled as existing vinyl siding. I'm not sure if that means that there was a vinyl siding when that addition was made, or if it's referring to the vinyl siding that was installed like recently. Can you clarify?
Yes, yes, it is existing now because it was just put on.
Got it. Okay. Then I think I would be in agreement with Whitney on the southern facade. And for me, I think that street facing portion of that addition to be consistent. I don't know. I'm still not really seeing a reason why the existing siding can't just be maintained. It seems like a lot of cost and effort to cover it and have to recreate the elements that have been covered rather than wood siding can have a lot of longevity if it's just painted and maintained.
Right. So I do want it should be clear from the pictures so that we're clear with the committee, right? Right. The vinyl siding's already been purchased. The vinyl windows are already in, right? So if we were doing a presentation of what are we going to do with this, a little bit different scenario in the fact that, much of that work has already been completed, right? So it's not like, oh, let's just go back to the wood because, I'm sure the siding contractor is not going to say, oh, we'll take it off of there for you and not charge you for it. Same thing with the windows, right? I mean, those expenses have already been made. So I just want to make sure that that's clear with the committee.
Yeah, and I'm as a neighbor, I'm very sympathetic to that. I am, the onus of this committee though is to preserve the historic district, and those criteria I think can be achieved on this property by maintaining the existing facade. And I'm not trying to be punitive about that. It's just kind of, if this were presented to us prior to work being done, there would have been a very different outcome. So in terms of the process. So
I also just want to chime in and agree with you. I think if we let these things slide because they're already installed, we create a precedent that, just get the work started now and then ask forgiveness later, and that's really not what this board is about.
I'm in agreement with the committee regarding the comments. Just due to the visibility of the south elevation, I would not approve vinyl siding on that.
Same here. I also have a question about the trim for the front elevation. Like in the drawings, there's decorative elements shown around the windows. Is that something that you're reinstating, that you're creating?
It's reinstating. The part of doing the siding work was removing of that trim. So that is reinstating that trim around the windows that go in there.
Okay. I mean, I would also prefer that not be a vinyl product. And I think there's a difference between some of the composite products and just straight PVC. So I would want to see, specifically which product is being proposed for that. If you do go back to the original wood siding, ideally, that would be a wood trim.
Understood. And I think that's feasible. We were looking at an option. We haven't priced out the trim pieces yet, but if we need to stay within a composite trim, I think we can manage that.
Same with, like, I know in the information sheet, the presentation with the information sheet, there's a lot about other vinyl products, soffit, the porch ceiling, skirting, and I'm not sure if that's being applied somewhere here on this project or if it's just because it's the full information packet of the materials.
It's the full information packet of the materials. Those products would be used on those elevations where the committee would permit us to use vinyl, right? So anywhere, so we wouldn't do, hey, we're going to use the LP Smart siding and do a composite trim around the windows and then do a vinyl soffit. We would keep it all on the same materials for that.
Okay, thank you.
Paul, given kind of like, I think, do we have anyone else? I think we've heard from all of us. Oh, Brant, did you have anything to chime in with?
Yeah, I guess I just have a question. So all the blue that we see in the images, that's all currently vinyl, or is the front elevations as proposed in your new elevations, is that currently the LP?
None of it is. So the yellow in the pictures that we have is the existing wood siding.
Okay, and then the blue is all vinyl, or is any of that
Correct.
LP? Okay, so
None of
the
it-
proposal would
none
be
of
to
it is LP.
pull off the blue vinyl on the front elevations you're showing and then replace that with the LP?
That is correct, right?
Okay.
So again, where we're at is a started, incomplete vinyl siding project that we are looking to your guidance to rectify in the most appropriate manner.
Okay.
Okay, and then to also clarify, all of the white windows are replacement, like had just been replaced, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and they're all vinyl, correct?
They are currently all vinyl.
And this proposal is asking to keep them. Is that accurate?
That is the request at this time, yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we should discuss that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know you're in the same, again, like I can understand your clients in the same position and that they've already been installed, but I know, Paul, I know you know how the district works, and
We've been here a few times.
yes, I do know, you know. So I don't know, this is it's tricky, and I'm not sure if it does not sound like the temperature of this committee is favorable in approving a lot of what you're presenting. So I'm not sure if it's like something you would want to table and circle back with your client on, or if you'd like us to vote, or if you'd like us to discuss more. What do you think?
Maybe a few more comments about the windows. You know, if the preference for this committee is the front and the south elevation and that little portion of the addition to go to LP Smart siding with some composite trim around the windows, would those same areas be for moving to a different window as well too? So or all right, front elevation, you know, back to the front door, definitely not, but maybe, you know, the committee, would they be open to keeping vinyl windows on the balance of the south elevation, for example, right? Or is it, hey, where we're using the LP Smart siding, we're not going to have vinyl windows? So maybe some clarification on or comments to that from the committee.
Yes, and I think Whitney had touched on this earlier, but I think typically we're consistent in that the areas that are acceptable to have vinyl windows could be acceptable there. but the areas that are not acceptable to have the vinyl siding also would not be acceptable for vinyl windows. I'm looking at the previous listing of the home, and I don't think that the windows are original to the house, but that were removed. I don't know if your client can speak to what windows were there prior to, or if you know, Paul. I know that we have also considered if they had already been replaced by vinyl at some point and the whole house was vinyl. I think that's a discussion point, but I can't tell from the photos what was there.
When we met with staff, we did look at some images of the house prior to the window replacement. I think you're correct. They did not look like they were original. There were a couple original windows, right? During our staff meeting, we were trying to divine whether or not there's any division in the windows or not. And the only one that had that, I think, was the window on the second floor above the front door had a 2/2, but the other ones looked like they were just 1/1. So I would agree that they weren't original windows, but they were not vinyl either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm going to be consistent with my comments and prefer that there's no vinyl on the southern elevation. And also just my point of view of this is to not consider too strongly, unfortunately, the work that's been completed but not permitted. So I'm viewing this project as, you know, if this were coming to us without any of the changes made.
I would agree with that, Whitney.
Me too.
Same here.
Same.
Thank you. One last clarifying question to the committee. So I obviously been here. So wood or aluminum clad wood replacement windows is the preference instead of the vinyl on those elevations that we've been talking about. Color for that. So for the LP Smart Siding, we found you know, it is going to be colored to match the blue of the vinyl siding, right? So that the whole house at least has a coherent appearance, even on those elevations that are not so visible. And using the trim color, right, normally matches what we have going on with the trim around the windows. Is white going to be an appropriate aluminum clad replacement for that, or should we, you know, is there, you know, hey, white looks like they're vinyl, that's not what we want? Or I'm trying to get some feedback from this committee so that when we look at those replacement windows, where we should be looking for coloration.
Sure. That's a great question. I think materiality wise, we've also been open to fiberglass clad or fiberglass windows. That, depending on cost efficiency, that can be helpful. I personally really like the Infinity by Marvin replacement windows that are fiberglass, but I think you'll have a spectrum of kind of color approach, though I think a majority of us feel that in the most, you know, classic historic, the most appropriate historic approach is that the sash of the window is the darkest material on the house, which is why white often looks so stark and so out of place. Is that just we would not have had pure white windows in the time frame of majority of the homes, with few exception. But I think there can be differing opinions. I personally would prefer a darker window. If the blue is fine by me and white trim is totally fine. Maybe just a I don't know, I think a bronze is always a really good bet. Or, you know.
A darker, not white, I guess that's all I wanted to get some feedback from. Thank you.
That's just my thought. I mean, if anyone else has different thoughts, please share.
Well, I agree, Nia. I think it is an area of compromise for a better quality window. If you know, matching the rest of the house is important from the color standpoint. I'd rather see a better quality window and still the bright white than no change.
Yeah, I completely agree. And there have been some renovations that have gone with the white, and again, better quality window trumps the color. Anyone
Um,
else?
yeah, after waiting for more comments, Madam Chair, maybe just explain to Mr. Crum, so that he understands it, you know, voting versus tabling it at this point in time, what his options are and what that would mean.
Yeah, and Dan, chime in if I misspeak, but so we're the advisory committee to landmarks. The commission is the actual governing body. So they take our vote as recommendation and they take our comments as recommendations and feedback. So, and I think you will still have to go to them, Dan, correct me again if I'm wrong, rather than work through with staff. But what would happen is we would vote. And it does not seem like it would be a favorable outcome based on our feedback right now as what's in front of us. And then you would take that to the Landmarks Commission, and they will have a similar kind of dissection of the proposal, and then they will have the vote, and they are the actual governing body. Your other option, and we can absolutely take that vote if you want us to. The other option is you can table it. You can ask us to table it, and we will table it off of, you know, to a further future agenda, and you can adjust your presentation or what your proposal is, and come back and take our feedback and just adjust and come back. So it's up to you.
I think at this point, I would rather just vote and move on to the next thing to see where it goes and then go from there.
Great. Dan, do we have any time restrictions? Like if he were to vote, you know, if landmarks is not favorable, is there any kind of time restriction that they can't reapply or something like that that they would want to consider?
No time restrictions. Like if he's denied by the Landmarks Commission, he can, the options would be appealing to the Board of Zoning Appeals, or he could present another proposal. And as long as it's, you know, different from what was previously voted on and reviewed, it would essentially be a new proposal of starting from the beginning. So it would go back through you guys and then through Landmarks again. You know, or, you know, yeah, that's essentially how that works.
Okay, are you clear on that?
Yes, I am, Madam Chair. I'll make sure
I just
that.
wanted to make sure that there wasn't any kind of, I've been working with Rocky River and they have like a year-long holding if you get denied. I wanted to make sure that that was not something that your client would run into. But if Mr. Crum, if you want us to vote, we can certainly do that.
Yeah, I would just go with the vote.
Okay, great. Can someone make a motion?
I can make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
All right. Seeing no other hands up and hearing no other comments, Ms. Anderson,
No.
Ms. Flaherty,
No.
Ms. Land,
No.
Mr. Miller,
No.
Ms. Myers,
No.
and Ms. Marinucci.
No.
All right, Madam Chair, the motion fails unanimously. So Paul Riley, Susan will be in touch with next steps, but I think we have you, you know, we kind of had you penciled in for Landmarks Commission meetings, so it is certainly your right to go to the Landmarks Commission with the recommendation from this committee to recommend denial of the issuance of certificate of appropriateness. But yeah, we'll reach out and go over that with you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all of your
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks, Dan.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you guys. All right, Madam Chair, that does conclude our certificate of appropriateness reviews. So that is all we have on our end. Our next scheduled meeting is May 7th, assuming we have design review cases then.
Awesome. Do we have any other business?
Yeah, I had one thing. So there's a house near me across from Dave's. It was previously in like bad disarray. The previous owner passed away. Someone else bought it. There's been a lot of work done on it, and I'm not seeing any permits that are pulled. So I was just hoping. I emailed 311, but I haven't seen any work stop. So I was hoping just for other people to take a look. It's 2700 Bridge Avenue.
Let me see.
It used to have like these terrible asphalt shingles as siding, but now,
Oh gosh, this
all
one. Yeah.
yeah,
This was
yeah,
I don't know if the owner, I don't know who ended up buying it, but I consulted on this last year.
yeah. I sent my friend to you, and
Oh,
he
was that
opted
your
not
friend?
to.
Did he
Yeah,
opt
my
not
friend
to?
Tom.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
thank
it
you for
looks
that.
like an
Okay, thank you.
LLC. Yeah, of
It
course. It
was,
looks like an LLC bought it.
it was rough. I mean, it was pretty
Yeah,
horrific. So if they're doing work without a permit, thank you for,
yeah. I mean, I looked it up on my place, and it says no, no permit under this address. So it's
good to
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I had previously had this, I mean, I wrote an email to Dan and the council person and the inspector, building commissioner for the corner of Whitman and Randall. Yeah, I guess Dan, I guess maybe the question is like when 311 is not responding appropriately, what should we be doing? Doing that?
Yeah, I think just kind of moving it up the chain. I think the email you sent last week, the property on Whitman was certainly on everyone's radar, but it certainly provided I guess a different set of people asking me about it, which is good sometimes. And I think we have a good resolution, or will have a good resolution on that. As far as this one on Bridge, I do see a complaint lodged. I see there was a PRJ that looks like it was applied for towards the end of last month. Of course, my cell is crashing. I gotta open it up in a different browser. Just bear with me 1 second here. See if I can try and see what's going on with this one.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of like developer business around there, and I just want to make sure that it's handled with care. I know the previous owner lived there her whole life, and it would be a shame to me if it wasn't taken care of the way I think it should be.
It needed significant work. Like,
yes, I had been in there a couple times. It was.
I think we've all seen really bad ones, and this was a really bad one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she was just someone that was priced out.
Oh yeah. No, I don't mean that to disparage the
No,
prior owner.
I know.
Moving forward, it's such significant work to not go permitted and inspected. It's just super disconcerting.
Yeah. Especially because there's like a apartment up top. Like who knows? Ooh.
Yeah, it looks like this one they applied for a permit on March 24th, and then on March 27th it reached our office. Jessica reached out to them. Asked for additional information so we could find out what's going on, see if it needs to go through design review, if it's something that meets our our guidelines, and we don't really know what the project is at this point, so we're waiting for additional info from them. Is there still work continuing?
There are people there every day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they've rebuilt. The porch was falling in. Like they've rebuilt the porch, added like new column structures. So it really should probably be flagged.
Okay, I will. 311 is always our our primary thing that we encourage everyone to use, and the more people that use it, the better. I will send a note to the chief building official and ask him to have someone go out and take a look. And this one just might need an extra set of eyes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there is
Okay.
a complaint in here that was 320 on March 25th. Just an anonymous complaint was in. I don't know. But yeah, there's a note here. You know, no work being done without a permit. But as usually happens with complaints, you know, once they go out and talk to the contractor and they say, hey, you know, you got to get a permit, then the inspector closes the complaint because in their, you know, from their perspective, that's been resolved. We told them.
Got it.
Ideally, those would stay open until a permit is issued, but that's I think a larger discussion. So I'll bring this back to their attention and see if we can get them to issue a stop work order.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and then if there's nothing else, Nia, if you want to adjourn the meeting, and then if I could have like 5 minutes of your time, Nia.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so we'll call today's Historic Ohio City Design Review Advisory Committee meeting to order. One day I will, not to order, adjourned. One day I'll get it right.
Okay, always room for improvement, right?
Yeah. We're gonna stay on here, Danny. You want a phone call?
Either one's fine with me. We can just stay on here. If
Yeah, that's great.
for you, but all right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.